the achievements of these two distinguished aviators with the NAA Awards. To introduce our first awardee, Mr. Brian Stout, this board member is an aviation education pioneer and a previous NAA recipient himself. Please welcome to the podium, Professor Tom Lenoard.
Well, that's service when you get to pull up onto the podium here. I was warned ahead of time that I'd better have a note or two, because without this kind of guidance, everything goes for 50 minutes when I get up, so watch out. It's with great pleasure that I'm able to announce the Aero Club's selection of Brian Stout as the recipient of this award. Let me tell you just a bit about him. It could go on for a long time, but it won't. In 1971, Brian joined the staff at San Jose State. Kind of a part-time job, but Brian was an old grad and had experience that we could use, and he shared it with us. Brian also worked at Reed Hillview along in this same period, and he worked for Progressive Aero. Progressive was an interesting outfit because in a way it had many ties with Hiller. Any of you old Hiller beings would remember Chuck Carell, who was a key player in that group, and also Steve Remington, who not only was a key player but also was an art expert and had a tough time dividing his time between art and aviation, but he did it effectively. I think they molded Brian along the way. In any event, in 1979, Brian really got involved at San Jose State. He chaired many committees, worked with scholarships, did everything, was an ideal guy for 25 years. And then he kind of retired and spent all of his time at the airport. But by this time, he also had Flying S Aviation. What's Flying S? Well, I'm sure you know what the S stands for. If the name of the individual is Stout, that's where the S comes from. So Reed Hillview inherited a new, capable individual. Brian has conducted business on the airport for a number of years, has an excellent reputation in that direction. But he also likes to fly airplanes. To keep himself busy, he has a 1947 Republic CB, and that means he has to have a seaplane rating, so he does. He also has a 35 Bonanza, and that keeps him fairly active with something that moves a little bit. And then just to really make it competitive, he had to get a Kristen Eagle. And that Kristen Eagle is what he flies in competition right now, today. I was very pleased when I saw that he also listed an item back at the silent auction to take somebody up and do some flying with him in the Kristen Eagle. So I'd encourage anybody to take a look at that if you're kind of inclined in that direction. Ratings, he's got them. SEL, he's got a seaplane rating, instrument, A&P, inspection authorization. He's practically an FAA man when he puts that hat on. Interests on the side, all kinds of good things for people, particularly introducing young people to aviation. And he's done that, of course, on the campus, but now he's got the Young Eagles program under wing, and he's doing an excellent job with that. We're proud of Brian, and we're pleased to present him with a plaque from our friends back in Washington tonight. Brian, can I get you up here?
Judy, come on up with her. Please. Judy, come on up here.
This is the National Aeronautic Association Certificate of Recognition to Brian Stout for his continued support of the NAA, the American aviation community, and the future of aeronautics. Congratulations, Brian.
I've been to a lot of these dinners over the years. I never expected I would be standing up here receiving one of these awards. And it all started with San Jose State Department of Aeronautics, where I was a student. I left there and with an A&P, and eventually went to work, as Tom said, at Progressive Aviation, where I met my wife, Judy. And one day I was working in the hangar, and Tom Lenoard went walking by. He was on his way to see somebody else, but he saw me, and of course Tom remembers everybody's name. I hadn't seen him for I don't know how many years. We started talking. He said, "Would you be interested in teaching a part-time class in the evening sometime?" I said, "You know, I'd think about doing that." So some weeks later, I get a phone call from Tom. "Would you consider a full-time job?" And by the way, classes start in 3 days. So I launched into working at San Jose State, and it was a great deal. I got to meet a lot of students over the years, many of whom remain my friends today. So it was a really good deal. I discovered a couple of things during that first year as I was working there. One was we had a lot of time off. This is great, you know. Before I got 2 weeks a year off, now I had the summer, I had intersessions. And I also discovered I really needed to do something else to be able to afford to teach. So I went out and got my IA, and that's when Flying S Aviation was born. So over the years, I had the opportunity to have a lot of students work for me, and it was a good deal for both of us. I got some work, paid them dirt. And they got a great opportunity to get some real-world experience. So it has been a lot of fun over all these years. I'd like to thank my family and friends here who have joined me to celebrate tonight. And I'm really happy that a food fight didn't break out between those two tables. So once again, I'd like to thank the Aero Club very much for this award.
Congratulations, Brian, and thank you, Tom. Appreciate that.